Yo, what's up to everybody out there? Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable Talk. I am your host, C Money, and we are here in beautiful Hialeah, Miami Gardens area. Right now, I'm here standing at the Red Road Transit Hub. If you don't know what a transit hub is, it is a basically like a mini bus terminal for several routes here, and we are here near the Walmart that is here in the Hialeah Miami Gardens area. Now, I can't debate on what this location falls under because we are on near 57th Avenue, Red Road, just north of the Palmetto Expressway 826. Now, this area has been developed and redeveloped so many times. As you can see, if you saw it, here there's a Walmart. This Walmart was originally south of the location they're at now, and it was next to a Sam's Club, and we're probably gonna go walk by it in a little bit. But also this right here is, I believe, a Lowe's hardware store, which was not here, years back. Remember, my hometown is Opa-locka, so over here was like frequent visitor, and I went to school in the Hialeah area. So as I said, most of the people who lived in Opa-locka had to go to Hialeah Miami Lake. So you get a good understanding of your surroundings. I guess this is a Florida Reading Health Center. You get a good understanding of a lot of these. We're probably going to circle back to the Red Road Transit Hub in a minute. You get to pretty much explore the areas as well. I haven't been up this way in a while, but one of the things that I know of this here, this is, and the building is still here. Oh, this is, I guess this area of the parking lot is blocked off because they have a chain here. So we're gonna go around. We're gonna get more in depth. Now, if you want to know about this building here was a movie theater. Now, I did do my research on this. They don't have a Wikipedia, but when it first opened up, of course, it was a Crown Theater. This was one of the hot spots here in the Miami Lakes, Hialeah, and Miami Gardens, which was then Carol City, because this opened up in 2000. Remember, Carol City became an actual city of Miami Gardens in 2003. This opened up in 2000. So this was 3 years prior to that. And this was a staple for the young people in all of Carol City area, because this was the closest movie theater to the Miami Gardens Carol City area. This was the northern movie theater of Hialeah and the eastern movie theater of Miami Lakes, because there is another movie theater in Miami Lakes in Main Street. We'll probably do a video in the weeks or in later on down the line. Now, with this movie theater, like I said, it opened up in 2000. In 2006, well, the movie theater was called the Crown Movie Theaters, and like I said, it was a staple. This movie theater was popular. One of the routes here that was a regular route, they have several routes that goes here now because they do have a transit hub, and we'll probably get back to that. But one of the routes had to upgrade their service at the end of the night and add more service to the nighttime to accommodate the moviegoers that came out to this movie theater. And it was bus route 75, because that bus went all the way from Miami Lakes Educational Center, which is south of us, all the way to the North Miami area. And the bus still exists, the service still exists. It's just now the movie theater is closed, but they had to extend bus service, because the bus used to run to like 7-8 o'clock at night probably, and they had to extend to like 9, maybe 10 o'clock at night. They had to extend the bus service because they, because of the moviegoers that came out to this movie theater, and just another hour, another bus. It wasn't like 11, 12 o'clock, because back then bus service wasn't as convenient as it was now. Back then you didn't have bus service. Most services stopped at 9, 10 o'clock at night. The popular buses stopped at 11 and 12 o'clock at night. Now you have 24-hour service, and most of the buses run to about midnight. But yeah, at that time they had to extend the bus service to accommodate the moviegoers that came out to this movie theater. Now going back forward, in 2006, the movie theater got accredited to what you see now, Cobb Theaters. So it got sold to Cobb Theaters, which was one of the premier movie theaters here in South Florida. Cobb Theaters had several movie theaters, including the other location that we just talked about in Miami Lakes. Now, in 2020, the movie theater got sold to CMX. Now, if you remember CMX, they do have a location at the Brickell City Center, and they also bought the Cobb movie theaters that sits in Main Street, Miami Lakes. They also have that movie theater. And so, as you can see, this movie theater it looked like it never got its name changed over. And you know why? Because remember, this movie theater got bought in 2020. What happened in 2020? COVID. So COVID shut down all movie theaters, and it was said in November of 2020 that the movie theater would be enclosed permanently. Like, it got closed. They got bought in 2020 by CMX Theaters, and I guess CMX was going to do the changes to the movie theater, like change the name and probably do upgrades and stuff to the movie theater, because CMX was one of the rising movie theaters next to AMC and Regals and all the other ones. And then when COVID hit, I guess they never got the chance to do the upgrades, and this building got left abandoned. And then eventually it said that in 2020 this building would be closed permanently. Now we're gonna go out this way. Now, as you can see, most of the parking lot has been chained off, so you really can't go this way. I'm guessing I'm not supposed to be in this parking lot, but I'm here just to do a little background of it. This here is a BJ's. Now, I believe this BJ's used to be a Sam's Club, if I'm not mistaken, and this Lowe's here was probably the Walmart, because I remember Walmart was next to a Sam's Club. Like back in the day, most of the Walmarts was next to a Sam's Club, because Walmart and Sam's Club is, they are ran by the same company, and there's a bus stop there, there's another bus stop across the street down the way, for other buses. So we're gonna walk this way, and pretty much this area, like I said, has been developed and redeveloped. Now further north of here, because there is more shopping centers, but we're probably not going to get to them. But yeah, this is around where PJ's, and this used to be I know Sam's Club used to be over here, and then it was a Walmart, and the Walmart got redeveloped. When Walmart, because the Walmart that used to be over here wasn't the original Walmart. The original Walmart that just sold the regular, like it was a Kmart. When Walmart started, and no, let me give you a outlook of that. This was one of the original Walmarts that sat over here. And, that was around the time Walmart, if you wanted the super Walmart, you had to go to like certain areas that had the Walmart that sold the groceries and stuff. Then when Walmart started rebranding all of their stores into an actual super Walmart, to where all of their stores started selling groceries and everything else, they eventually moved the Walmart to the location we seen earlier. So now all of the Walmarts got remodeled and moved. They moved to a different location, whether they moved, whether they got closed and got remodeled, because some of them did close and got remodeled, while other ones like this one ended up moving about 2 or 3 blocks up the road. So it got where they rebuilt it and moved it up. Yeah, this used to be over here a Sam's Club and a Walmart next to it. So it got rebranded into other stuff as well. I'm trying to get where I don't see the cars coming towards me. But yeah, this is, and if you actually know the location of this area, because I consider this Miami Gardens, because at that light, if you go further east, you're in the Miami Gardens area. But then you're like in the corner ends, because a lot of this, because I'm going to give you another piece of information. This is, I believe, 175th Street. If you go further north to 183rd, this is 175th Street and 57th Avenue. If you continue north and go to 183rd and 57th Avenue, there's a shopping center there, which we'll probably get to, because I'll probably do it. There's a bus now coming from the south side of the transit hub, because the transit hub has a north side and a south side. If you come out and you go to the shopping plaza, whatever, that's a Chili's, y'all. That's a Chili's restaurant right there, and the food is so lovely. I've actually eaten at that Chili's before, and I've had a family member that worked at that Chili's. But yeah, when you go up north to 183rd and 57th Avenue, when you go past 57, the shopping center that sits there, and I'm going to give you history behind that, because that's something that's near dear to me as well. We're going to probably go up there. The shopping center is considered Hialeah, But when you go down 183rd and get to 67th Avenue, you're basically in Miami Lakes. There's a lot of confusions in this area on where Miami Gardens end, where Hialeah begins and ends, where Miami Lakes begins, because I believe, Miami Gardens begins at 57th Avenue and it continues going east. To the west side, Miami Gardens ends at 57th Avenue and it begins at 57th Avenue. And then from there, but then there's always talk that where does Miami Lakes begin, where does Hialeah end, because if you go south of 826, which is behind us, if you pass it, you reach Miami Lakes Educational Center, which is in Miami Lakes. And I know because my mom used to work in Miami Lakes, and I done been by, and on my way here, I passed her old job, and I was like, hey, how you doing? Because her old job. And but Hialeah is considered over this way, so you always have to wonder, where does Miami Lakes end, where does Hialeah end, where does Hialeah begin, where does Miami begin? Like a lot of these, and I know it is not because a lot of these cities and stuff has confusing city limits, to where you have to find out, like, this city might end on a back street, because I've seen it in Georgia and I've seen it in other areas where it's a little small unknown street that'll be that'll divide one city from another city. Like 57th Avenue, I know divides Miami Gardens from the other cities out to the west end, but you don't know where is one, where does Miami Lakes end, where does, because Miami Lakes, goes far, but here they considered a lot of some of this area Hialeah, and I'm gonna give you a little background for that. Hey ducks, how you doing? Okay, now we're gonna walk down. Yes, this is a bus stop here. I guess they're gonna be putting a bus shelter here for future reference. All right, let me cross the street here. Here's cross. I believe this Burger King has been here. A lot of these places that are here has basically been here since I was younger. It's just that now the movie theater, of course, opened up around the time I was in my early adulthood. So I've probably been to the movie theater like once or twice. I haven't been to the movie theater like, as much, because you go to several movie theaters. One of my hangout movie theaters, of course, was Sunset Place. So it wasn't like I actually went to this movie theater and hung out like I wanted to. Okay, so now we're gonna go on this way. The one thing about 57th Avenue, and I want you to notice that there is a canal that runs to 57th Avenue, is also called Red Road. If you don't know, I don't know why it's called Red Road. If you want to look it up, look it up. I didn't really do my research on that because that wasn't really my, that wasn't the base of this thing. I was based on, hey, I remember the movie theater that sat here, and I seen a post from one of my, social media followers, and it got to where I was like, hey, I remember this movie theater, and I'm like, and then somebody had said COVID had closed it and stuff like that. It never really opened up. But if you look at the movie theater, it looks as if it never opened up when they got acquired, because it says in the research I did that they got acquitted and bought by CMX, and I guess CMX was going to do all of the changes to it, but COVID hit and they ended up closing before they made the changes, because it still says Cobb Theaters. It don't say CMX. So, and it looks like when I was just over there, that they're doing construction inside of the movie theater. So I don't know if they're going to reopen the movie theater, which I think is a good idea, because I believe they need another movie theater in the area. Most movie theaters now, you don't really see too many standalone movie theaters. Most movie theaters you see inside of shopping malls and, shopping centers and stuff like that. So you don't really get too many shopping standalone movie theaters. That was one of the few movie theaters that was a standalone. Okay, this is the Walmart over here. We're gonna go further up because we're gonna take a look at some other places as well. Now, like I said, I have not been here in over 10 plus years. I believe I've been to the Walmart within that time, because I remember I was coming here with my friends, the same friends that I was with when I visited Atlanta. When we did the video, the same friends I was with, we came here one time and they was going shopping here at Walmart, and we ended up coming here. But at the time, that's about it. I have not really been to any of the places over here. There's a McDonald's here. I might get something to eat from McDonald's, There's a lot of, shopping centers here and a lot of stores here. Like I said, this has been redeveloped and developed since the early 2000s. Back then, a lot of this area wasn't nothing. Half of this was probably just land. It wasn't nothing big. It wasn't nothing, here it was just obsolete land. Here's a McDonald's. This McDonald's got rebranded. Well, all the McDonald's are getting rebranded now, because now, McDonald's now have that self-ordering kiosk, so they can, for people who, want, they can do their own ordering and stuff like that. That's basically what I do. I go to the self-ordering kiosk and everything, and plus, if you have the rewards program with McDonald's, it's better for you to order at the self-ordering kiosk. I'm gonna see if I can get all the way to 57th Avenue, to 183rd from here, because I know it's a lot behind this. I don't know what this building used to be. It's closed off. Yes, we are Linden Cone. Yes, we are Linden. Comes and see us. I don't know exactly what this is. It doesn't have, maybe it was a former bank, or maybe it was something. I don't remember what this is. And this was probably a business that opened up after the time. Remember, I moved out of Opa-locka in 2004, so it took me, it was a bank. It looks like a bank. Like it was a bank, so it looks like it was a former bank. Yeah, it was a bank. Don't know which bank it was, but it was a bank. So we're coming up here, and of course they have, there's a mini hospital here. Oh, okay. Like I said, when you leave a certain city, like when you leave home from home and you move out, regardless if you move to another part of the city or you move from, you know, to another state and then you come back 10 years later, you'll always find that something will change, regardless of what it is. You'll find that something will change. This is HCA Florida Palm Lakes Emergency. This is like an emergency, like a mini hospital, I believe. Yeah. This is a mini hospital. Now, this is 183rd. Now, let me tell you a little bit of history behind this, because this is also history. Now, all of these stores and all of these stores right here was never here back in 2000. So you have to know, remember, I was a frequent visitor here for one reason, and I give you history behind that. I can see across the street that it looks like the Walgreens is still there, and there's a looks like there's a drive-through for a burger restaurant. So now we're gonna walk through this shopping center. Now this shopping center does have some history behind it. Now, as you see here, this is a LA Fitness. Now, I'm surprised that this is a LA Fitness, because back in the 90s and 2000s, this yeah, because back in the 90s and early 2000s, this LA Fitness used to be a Kmart. Granted, yes, it was a Kmart. It was one of the Kmarts, and I frequently visited that Kmart. And I remember that Kmart. That was when Kmart had the Little Caesars K Cafe featuring Little Caesars. Now, DD's Discount, that's a new up and coming store, so they wasn't always here. I really can't remember. They probably converted the Kmart into LA Fitness and DD's, because that was never here. Five and Below is another up and coming. That was never here. Now, Ross, I believe, was here back in the 90s, because this shopping center opened up in the 90s. So now we're coming to Ross. Now, yes, Ross was one of the locations that was here in the 90s, and also this location coming up. Now, back then, when this Dollar Tree opened up in the 90s too. Now, back then, Dollar Tree was just a regular Dollar Tree where everything was $1, and they didn't sell groceries. They just sold, because I had another family member that had worked at this Dollar Tree. Now, there are a few Dollar Trees this look like it's an original Dollar Tree, like it only sells the original stuff. Like there are still Dollar Trees that only sell original stuff. They don't sell groceries and stuff like that. So this is a nail salon, and this is the cleaners was here, but I don't think it's the same cleaners. It might be another form of cleaners. Now this has some history behind it, and it has a lot of history. This is a Fresco. Now, Fresco is, if you don't know, it's a new supermarket chain that's under the company that also owns Winn-Dixie, which is S&E Groceries. When Winn-Dixie, a few years back, when Winn-Dixie started closing most of their stores due to budget cuts and them getting sued, I remember, I think I said it in an episode where they ended up getting sued, and they had a lawsuit in the 90s, in the late 90s, they had a lawsuit against them discriminating against African American women, and then in the 2000s they had a lawsuit, where 3 black men was trying to be promoted as managers, and they didn't get it because they was black, and they ended up suing them, and they won, and Winn-Dixie lost a lot of money. So a lot of the Winn-Dixies that closed down, most of them got rebranded into Fresco, which is the Spanish parent company of Winn-Dixie. Now, there are Winn-Dixies that still exist, because most of the Winn-Dixies either got rebranded as a Fresco, which is a Spanish version of Winn-Dixie that is mostly in the Latin and Cuban communities, or Spanish communities, I should say. I don't want to be seen, like that, but Latin and Cuban communities. The Sally Beauty Supply has been here, and this medical center and dentist, I think the dentist store has been here, but I don't know about the medical. Now, one thing that has history with this Fresco, which was a Winn-Dixie, this was, and I'm going to give you it, this was my very first legal job. I worked at this Winn-Dixie. It is 5750 Northwest 183rd Street. I remember the address. Like I said, this was my very first paying job. I had a job at, I'll probably tell you I did have a job where I was selling soda cans. Like, I was a street vendor at a local shopping location, and we'll get into that in another video, where I was selling sodas and I was just getting paid under the table. But here I was actually my first job, and this was when I'm 14 or 15 years old when I started working here. And I was only doing weekends, because at the time, Winn-Dixie, if you're 14 or 15, you can only work weekends. You can do 6 hours on Saturday, 3 hours on Sunday, and then when you turn 16, you can start working on the weekdays. And I used to work here at this Winn-Dixie then. And back in the early 2000s with the Kmart, I'm talking about the Kmart now. Back to the Kmart. When Kmart was starting to go down, like in the mid 2000s, I should say. When Kmart started going down, I left the company in I believe 1999. I left the company. I'm not going to tell you why. There's no reason to tell you why, but I left the company in 1999. Now, back in the mid 2000s, when Kmart started seeing a decline in sales and they had to revamp their stores, and they got combined with Sears, they branded this location here, and converted it into a Kmart Sears. It was like a Kmart Sears Essential store, where they had, like, they were selling, because Kmart didn't really sell appliances. They sold, like, microwaves and stuff like that, or whatever, or like little kitchen appliances, but they never really sold washing machines and refrigerators and stuff like that. So when Sears combined, and Kmart and Sears got together and they merged, they ended up started selling Sears appliances in this store. They were starting selling washing machines and refrigerators and dryers and stuff. They started selling Sears appliances inside this Kmart. Now, I'm quite sure all of the other Kmarts started doing the same thing, where they started selling Sears appliances inside of their stores. I can see over here they built a lot of community homes and stuff. And across the street from here, about a block over, there is a post office that sits over here, and I believe a credit union, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, there's a lot that has been redeveloped. Like, back here was nothing back here. Like, the Walmart didn't come this way until after I left Winn-Dixie. Because when I stopped working at Winn-Dixie, remember, I was still living in Opa-locka until 2004. but I wasn't a frequent visitor of this area because I didn't work over here. But every blue moon, I will pass through this area. But Walmart didn't come over here until like the 2000s when they moved their location to over here. So okay, Walmart moved their location and made it bigger. So that's what they did. But yeah, a lot of these places over here got rebranded into stuff. So we're gonna take a quick, we're gonna cut to end this part 1 because we're overlapping, and we're gonna go to part 2. Email me roundtable00@yahoo.com. Comment at the bottom of this page. I will see you in part 2. This is a Roundtable Talk. We are here in the northwest section of Miami-Dade. See you in a little bit.